everyone. It's another edition of DigiVation StartUp Space. And with me on the show, it's a new, exciting business, a startup that you guys will never know it's coming your way. It's Niger Kids. It's a Nigerian educational technology company providing educational games for children to improve their knowledge while making it fun, cool, and of course, interesting. And with me here today is Titi Adewusi. She's the co-founder of Niger Kids. She'll be sharing with us what Niger Kids is really all about, what it intends to achieve, of course, our journey and that of our team in making Niger Kids what it is today, and of course, what she has for us to know more about education. Hello, Titi. Thank you for being part of the show.
Hello, Mojisola. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really honored to be here. Talking about startups, a wonderful place to be, really.
I want to know from your point of view, as a co-founder of Niger Kids, games for learning, how did you come up with this concept, and what gap really are you intending, you and the team, what gap really are you guys intending to fill with this concept?
Wow. I usually tell this interesting story, and it's a story of my younger son. So I never, my wildest dream thought I would be in the education space. So my
Okay.
youngest son, when he was born, around when he was 2, he liked playing on the iPad or people's
Oh,
phones, which is what you find more typical of these children. We call them digital natives.
okay,
And
yeah.
he could maneuver on your phone, on your iPad, go to anywhere. He couldn't even read then, but it seemed as if he could read because he kind of intuitively knew what to do. I now thought that, you know what, I have a genius as a son. Hey! Fast forward to when he started school. When he started school, he was just a reluctant learner. Anything
Mm,
that had to do with school and homework, my son will now start telling you stories. He said, mommy, I'm tired. Mommy, I want to eat. Mommy, I want to sleep. Oh, let me go to the restroom. Something that should take us 10 minutes homework can end up taking us 2 hours. I just found that when it came to traditional learning, he wasn't as interested. But if
mm,
you put that thing on the iPad, put on the phone, like a game or a video to watch, you saw a different person come to life. So we
mm,
now started thinking, what, let's do something for him. So I sat down with my sisters, I was discussing, and they were like, why not let's, create like a game. And so
mm,
that's how we started the first one, created a game for him, found that he was really excited. We now found out this was something other people were interested in, that their children spend a lot of time on the iPad, but they didn't want them to be doing things that they felt were not educational. So
mm.
we said, what, let's come together and let's do that. And that's really how we started. And then my son will come back and say, have you done a game on this? Mommy, they taught us fractions. Have you done a game on this? What about this? We're like, we're not yet there. Okay, we'll do that. And then we also found out that there are a lot of games out there, especially on maths, English, and science. But the particular thing that is local to us, that has local content, especially when you start talking about subjects like social studies, like our own geography, a lot of that was missing. And that was also a place that we felt we could do. So now my son enjoys, the fact that he can come on his iPad, he can play a game. Not only can he play a game, he actually realized that it's helping him with his schoolwork. It's helping him learn. So now, when you say, go and read your book, you say, Mommy, let me just play a game first. Because in his mind, like, at least the one will be happy I'm reading. And then he too knows that it's helping him study. So that's really how we started. And then as we started the journey, people started asking for various things. And then we started adding that up. So people say, okay, my child's iPad has spoiled, or the phone is bad. Do you have some hard copy thing? And then we converted our games to puzzles and activity books. We then moved to corporate. Some corporates were like, people find all this online learning boring, but adding a game to it was different, and that's really what happened. But to be honest, before COVID, it was a slow, snail paced. It was a challenge. People say, my child has gone to school after spending money for school fees again. It was a challenge. People were not yet accepting of online learning. So it was like, people all spend time trying to convince them why it's good. They were like, I'm even taking the iPad from my child. It's on that thing too much. Oh, that was the mindset. Then the next thing, what happened? The next thing, you found out that COVID happened. The pandemic
Indeed, it
happened.
does. Yeah,
And then
indeed.
everyone now had to go online. Of course, the challenges of online are still there. You know, devices are expensive, whether it's a smartphone, a tablet, or laptops are expensive. Data is also expensive. Electricity
Mm.
is also a challenge. But there's a major mind shift. And that's
Mm.
really, really was one of our major challenges in starting.
Thank you so much for that interesting story. I tell you, it's a good story, and it takes one back to those days when we were kids. You know, you have to play games with the sand, draw in the sand, the ten and all that. It helped us then, but we didn't know unconsciously.
Yeah, yes, yes. I mean, look at it. Some of the things that we remember are from the games and the songs, because
Yeah,
the idea of memory is that when you are doing it's easier for you to remember rather than when people are telling you. So the things that allow us to remember is when we do. When you sing songs, you're doing something. When you are doing an activity with your hand, you're doing something. It allows you to remember that thing that when someone
yeah.
told you. So it's even we. It's something. It's not a secret. It's not something that is new. It's just that we're now using technology to achieve the same thing that achieved when we were young.
Yeah, great. So, my next question to you is this. With this product, with this solution, you have combined your expertise, your skills, and that of your other co-founders and the team members. Definitely, it's made for some certain demographic. But what has been the user feedback or user response to the market since it has been released? Is it only for kids in Nigeria? How diverse use is it meant for?
So the user feedback has been awesome. People then found out that online learning can be tired. After a while, people are just tired. But without having
Yeah.
fun and entertaining elements to it, it could be boring. Without doing games on it, without doing something that is interactive, instead of the children just listening and listening to you. So the pandemic for us was just a blessing in disguise. It came
Oh,
as a blessing bearing a lot of gifts. And so what
wow.
we found out was that, a lot of people now turned around, made this demand. Schools that we had gone to meet before turned around also saying, you know what? Yes, we want your games. The children are doing more online. There was a school that we went to, and they said that when the children are being naughty, they will tell them that, okay, you're being naughty. We won't play Nigeria kids game. They were like, oh, no, Miss Mochi, please. Because the children enjoy it. They actually enjoy it. I mean, playing. Who doesn't enjoy
Of
playing?
course,
So the
who
children
doesn't?
enjoy it. And just the fact that it's something that's learning. And then the other feedback we get is that it also makes them attentive in class. Because if you play a game and you don't find out you don't know something, when the teacher is now talking about that thing, you're kind of paying attention because you want to, let me hear what something. So when I go and play the game, my score will be higher than it was the last time. So there's a lot of excitement. Children are engaged. The teachers also find out it's something that can use to engage the children. Once you put the game, the class just becomes so active. It's something that you can, they can do for a longer time. That when you say, the lesson is over, they'll be like, oh, please give us extra time. And so it's really for anyone. Our games are focused from nursery school all the way
Okay,
to junior secondary. So that means really
okay.
from the age of 3 to 13. And it's really for anyone. Because a
Mm.
lot of where we started, is content that is local, that is African.
Mm.
So any African child within the ages of 3 to 13 that lives in Africa or even lives in diaspora and they
Okay.
want to learn looking at characters that look like them, not white characters with names like theirs, and that is fun. And they can also learn about the culture. So even apart from math, English, and science, the usual suspects, we also have things teaching about Nigeria, our culture, the festivals we have, the states in Nigeria, our past president. It's a fun way to learn. Major landmarks in Lagos, major landmarks in other parts of the country. So it's a fun way to learn something that, typically people are not interested in learning. The history of Nigeria, about
Yeah.
Independence Day. So The feedback has really been fantastic, and like I said, post pandemic, it's even be it's even it's even been much better. We are really excited at what the future holds, as we aggressively continue to push outside of the shores of Nigeria to other African countries. We're currently in the process of translating our content to Arabic, so that the Arabic speaking countries, to French for the French speaking countries, and also to Swahili, because those are the major languages in Africa. So watch out for us, wherever you're listening from. Watch out and look out for Ninja Kids.
Now, talking about games, puzzles, running a business definitely is a puzzle on its own. So kicking off a business idea, not only does it have that piece there that you need to let it be in the middle so that other pieces can come together. Just briefly, what was the journey like from the idea to where you guys are now?
The journey has been interesting, but I think the best part of the journey is not going it alone. In entrepreneurship, that saying is so real. If you want to go fast, you can go alone. But if you really want to go far, you need to go with people. So the greatest blessing is that it was three of us that founded it. So when times are tough, and three women, hey,
Yay.
when the times are tough, just because there are three of you can never feel down and then discouraged at the same time. When one person is discouraged or two people are discouraged, one person will be like, okay, you know what? Let's try this. Let's do it. What about do this? And so for me, that's been the greatest part of this journey. The fact that I wasn't doing it alone. It means that you had people to share the burden. It means that you had people to share the worries. It's not only you. Okay, Moji will worry about it. Then you can sleep. and for me, I would always advise anyone, if you're going on this entrepreneurial journey, please try not to go it alone. And when you look at all famous startups that have really made something, that really made it big, they never did it alone. You might only know one person. So when you look at Facebook, it's Mark Zuckerberg, everybody knows. But it wasn't only him, it was a team of people. When you look at Alibaba as well, when you look at Twitter, it was never, because if it's just only you, it's discouraged. And then the fact that a lot of you, there are more than one, it means you also bring complementary skills. While someone might be good in the marketing and negotiation, so the other person might be good in the IT, and another person might be good in process, or the money, the finance aspect of it. So for me, that's one of the blessings of this journey. So even at the time that it was tough, I had two shoulders to put my head on. I think that another thing, just looking at the journey, is you need good financial money skills. That is just the truth. You need good money skills, because in the end, business is about money. What sustains you is money. So having someone that is good with the money aspect of it, in terms of looking at the pricing, looking at the product, managing the, when you first start, your purse is very lean. Someone that will help people really manage that lean purse. It really makes a difference. Making the decision of, sometimes let go of this thing because it's not, it's not adding up. Helping you to make those tough decisions. So I would say that if someone is starting entrepreneurship, and they're starting an entrepreneurship and they don't have someone that is a numbers person, all of you need to go for relevant education, masterclass, webinars, whatever it is, to get, because it is the money that keeps you going. It's really the money that keeps you going, and you need to be able to continue to identify the opportunities, quickly convert those opportunities to money, be able to manage your expenses. When you start out, you're very slim on the expenses. You're not doing all this. It's when you arrive that you can be going to town. So those are just some of the interesting things along the way.
Great. Talking about education, technology, and of course, the current climb of the learning style, like you mentioned earlier, the learning style of kids these days. What would you say when it comes to standard of education in Nigeria? What is missing and what do you think should be put in place?
Well, I think the standard standard, we know that the standard is not where it should be. We know that the world is changing dramatically. So the things that we were focusing on the past, we need to, to take a shift. And sometimes when you have a very big, it's easy for a small body to move. It's harder for a big body to move. So that's where I see education in Nigeria. In fact, that things are changing. A lot of education, a lot of the world is being driven by technology. So if you're teaching any child now, and technology is not a key part of what they are learning, they are already at a disadvantage. People are using technology for everything. Look at what happened during the pandemic. You saw how people say using technology. The businesses that didn't have technology were at a disadvantage. So they had to quickly, accommodate technology. And they found that in accommodating technology, it was like a bullet. It allowed them go farther. It allowed them do more. Some people are only selling to people in Lagos, and then suddenly with technology, they found that they could sell to people in Abuja. Just put the thing, get them dispatched, and the people are willing to pay for the delivery. So that's the thing about our education system. We need to look at it. What are the shifts that we need to do? And a lot of it has to be technology driven. The children need to know this technology. They need to know how to use a lot of tools. And I think the last thing is that with technology we can reach more people. Before, some people would do some programs and then they will have 100 people attend those programs. But when they did those programs virtually, people were attending from all over the world. There's some programs that I always wanted to attend. But they'll say it's in Abuja. I'm like, or they say it's in I'm living in one end of town, it's in the other end of town. I'm like, But you know what? I've attended a whole lot more during the pandemic using technology. I've enjoyed it in very things. And for me, that's really where education in Nigeria needs to get to, where we can, the good teachers are on one side. We can get those good teachers, get them using technology to reach everyone, rather than say it's only if I'm living in that side that I can get that quality of education. But if I leverage on technology, no matter once we know that the best teacher is in Abuja for this thing, we go get the person. Leveraging on technology, you can do it. Then all these, in books, a child doesn't have textbooks. Now, a child doesn't have textbooks. Now, you don't have to buy the books every time a new child comes. With technology, having it in a digital library means everybody. Look at the digital libraries. Before, your child can only read the books that you buy. But now you can go and pay monthly, and then the child has access to millions of books, even beyond what they are learning. So I think for me, that's really where education in Nigeria needs to go. How do we leverage on technology to just get, reduce what we call the digital divide, reduce the divide between the haves and have-not when it comes to quality of education, leveraging on technology. That's really, my take.
Okay, now for startups and you as a co-founder of a business, imperatively, what do you think most startups are doing wrong for them to have short business life? What do you think they are doing wrong, in your own opinion? Just
I think the first thing that people underestimate is the need to market. Sometimes we are so excited with our great idea. I have such a great idea. We don't realize that just having a great idea doesn't mean the people will come and buy it. So if people are not constantly marketing, and it's something that you even need to start, we say start before you even finish the product. So you know how when some organizations are opening, everybody's passing by and they're already announcing they are opening their right. So there's already a build-up. A lot of times we just plan to open and then expect people to market, and then it's a slower process. So I think that's one area you need to market. You need to be marketing every day. It's like a woman who sells something. She doesn't go to the market. That day she doesn't go to the market, she doesn't sell. So that's one of the things I would advise. That's the truth. That's one of the things I would tell people. It's an every day you're out there, you're marketing, because the marketing allows your business to go to so many people. It allows them to know your business, know your product, and eventually buy. So you must put that as number one. Someone must be dedicated to marketing, helping the business to come alive. I think the other thing I would say is ensure that before you spend all your money into this product, it's a product that people would want. Like I said, sometimes you might think that because I'm complaining I'm in a bus, this chair in a bus is expensive, so it's paining my back, that people want a limousine. No, they don't want a limousine. They still would want a bus, but maybe comfortable bus. So I think it's important that you know truly understand what your customers want and what they are ready to pay for. We complain about the bus, but when you now say, yeah, come on, for all of us say, let me enter my bus, jeje. So it just means that as you think of a product, you always have to think of your customers. What do they want and what are they ready to pay for? So that you don't give them a limo, is a bit, or even a bicycle, to be honest.
Thank you so much, Titi Adewusi, for being part of the show. It's been an interesting conversation. Lovely tips right there that you've shared with us for other startups and other founders to also take into note. And also great insight as to what Niger Kids is actually doing and trying to achieve. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It was my pleasure and it was really fun being here. Thank you so much, Mojisola.